Hello friends and enemies, welcome to your November wrap-up. So, caveat here, obviously I am not at home right now while I film this. I will be home by the time you're watching this, but I want to get it up, so we're filming here and I don't have a tripod. So you're on a table and we're winging it, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I did do my nails for the holidays. There's like a little gingerbread man. He's so cute. Anyways, beyond the point, total aside. Let's dive into my reading for the month of November by starting off with my stats. So first up, I read 18 books last month for 4,729 pages. I averaged a 3.7. Can you tell? I had the DNF project series in this month. 3.7 is very low for me. Probably normal for a lot of other people though. Then I listened to 30 and a half-ish hours of audiobooks last month, so that was great. I read 11 titles from KU. 4 books from the library. As far as age demographics go, all 18 books I read were adult titles. And then format-wise, I read 7 ebooks and 11 audiobooks. And we're going to dive into my DNF. So here's the thing. I have 2 DNFs that I DNF'd literally on November 30th because I've been at my parents for the holidays and nothing is like grabbing me like I want it to. Nothing is pulling me in. I'm just not enjoying things like I want to, which to me means I need to pivot. Because if I am not wanting to pick up a thing I was excited about anymore, then it needs to be DNF'd. If something's just not pulling me through it at 70 pages, I gotta DNF it. So my DNFs are Corrupted by Krampus. This was in my KU check-in. It's not bad. It is a debut. I am just not in the mood for it. I read about 20% of it last night and said, I'm good. So I returned it to KU. For me, like there were some light editing errors. No big deal. I can deal with that. That's not a big deal to me. But overall, it just was like the writing wasn't working. It felt kind of clunky. And again, it's a debut. This happens and that's okay. Like I'm by no means upset. But yeah, I was excited for this and it definitely just did not work for me at the end of the day. So I just sent it back because I didn't even want to spend the 50 minutes reading it. And I will say right now, I do feel like my tolerance is low from the DNF series that I read last month. So that's part of that as well, probably for me sending it back as quickly as I did. But yeah, it just did not work for me at the end of the day. So I said bye-bye and sent it on its way. And then I did decide to stop reading Nothing is Free by Drew Wells. This is a temporary DNF. This is a soft DNF, as we'll call it. This is very stressful. She is pregnant and kidnapped. And I am not in a place right now where pregnant and kidnapped is something I'm interested in. I have liked what I read of it, but it's stressing me out a little too much. And again, I'm in kind of a stressful situation when I'm here. So this was just not working right now. So I do think I will return to it either next month / this month, I guess, when you're seeing this, or in early January and finish it up because I do like it. It's just not for right now. And this is what I mean when I say like I'm struggling already in December because I'm like, what do I read? I want very much like right now books. So probably a lot of holiday novellas in the next little bit, and then we'll bounce back and forth to some other stuff. But yeah, I like this. I like the setup. I think the setup is really good. I think it's really interesting and I like the writing, but I cannot do the stress of what is going on in that book right now. All right, let's talk about my lows. I'm sure you guys have one guess what my lows were for November. Did you say the DNF series? Because if you did, wow, you were spot on. I wouldn't consider these all lows, but you can go watch the vlog to get my opinion on the first 6 that I read in that series. But I would consider that series in general a low for me in November because some of them were painful, to say the least, to get through. My other low this month is I was terrible, and I'm mad about it. But again, it's been a very, very, very stressful month. My underrepresented reading this month was god-awful, and I'm mad about it because I can do better and I should do better, and I do better normally, but I will acknowledge that is a low for me this month. I picked up a lot of things that I just put down. I don't necessarily like DNF them or soft DNF them. If I don't get more than 10% in and I put a book down, I don't always count that as a DNF. We're just in a very time. And I'm just mad because this month does not reflect like my whole year stats, which are well over 50% in my underrepresented category. And like I said, I'm just a little frustrated with myself, but it's okay. We're going to be okay. No, December will be better. Next, we have surprises. So first of all, one huge surprise is I read my first light novel last month. Second light novel? I don't know. One of those two. If you want to count Under the Oak Tree as one, that would be one. But I read Loyal Soldier, Lustful Beast. And I'm going to count this as a surprise because I was surprised at the beats of a normal historical romance we saw in a translated novel. I don't know that I didn't expect it. I just wasn't sure what to expect at the end of the day with this. This is something where I don't necessarily, like, it's a translated novel. I'm not going with the same expectations I have for an American novel. So I was just surprised to see how much of a Western style historical this aligned with story-wise. But this was really fun. I did enjoy it. I think the audio narration was fantastic. I definitely am excited to continue to dive into the world of light novels. I actually have the audiobook for My Happy Marriage Volume 1 right now and another one. So I'm going to be trying to listen to those in December. And then my other big surprise for the month was Puck and Prejudice by Leah Riley. So I got really nervous about this because I started seeing some really, really mixed reviews and I was like, oh no. But I left it happy and surprised, very happy and surprised, because yes, this features a goalie, and yes, he is not in goalie gear. Big content note here, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that is discussed in the book. And there is some great caretaking in this as well that was really sweet. But he goes back in time accidentally and ends up in the time of Jane Austen, and he meets the character / the person who was the inspiration for Lizzie Bennet, and it is their romance, which was so cute. But I was very stressed towards the middle end of the book when he's getting ready to go back to our time. Like, how are they going to make this work? How are we getting the HDA here, right? Because he's obviously not staying back in the day, and she isn't going to live in the current necessarily. They worked that out. I will tell you that. I'm not going to tell you how they work it out, but they work it out, and it worked well for me. I liked it, and I really enjoyed having a heroine in the historical time and a hero who's like, yeah, of course you should be able to make these choices. Why can't you? Like, that was really funny to have happen. And I think it was really sweet how it all played out. I really liked the two of them as a character. There's some really fun caretaking in this that I thought was really cute. She had a fever and he like freaks out. He also has nerves, obviously, about like his cancer stuff being back then and like if something happens, it being untreatable. So I just thought it was really fascinating. And he found some other time travelers too. So that was just like a fun time. This is just very like goofy and definitely something I recommend y'all pick up if you're looking for that sort of thing where it's just kind of a goofy historical setup. Let's talk about my highs real quick because oh my goodness, we have a couple highs. First up, I finished Lights Out. This was my members pick for November. I'm so glad we picked this. I had so much fun reading this book, y'all. I had so much fun. I'm still like, I'm watching my parents' neighbor's dog play. I'm still like recovering from finishing this book. This was exactly what I needed, and I was kind of glad it took me as long as it did to read it, because reading it here while I was like kind of stressed out, perfection. It really, really hit the spot because it is 100% similar to Butcher and Blackbird. It is silly, dark, light romance, and the entire setup was just absolutely fantastic. And it delivered, in my opinion, on a very tropey thing and very in thing right now without overdoing it or turning it into just like a checkbox of every single trope. So this follows Allie, a trauma nurse at the ER, and a hero, Josh, who has a mask page on TikTok in which he does sexy dances and all these suggestive things, and it follows their romance. Turns out Allie knows Josh's roommate and Josh has a questionable history, we'll call it, not of his own doing, of his dad's doing. His dad's like a renowned murderer, serial killer, and he kind of has to lay low because he doesn't want to deal with people approaching him about this topic. So he ends up stalking Allie because he finds out that she sent a picture of him to his roommate, like, would you be down to do this? And the roommate was like, absolutely not. But also, I have a new partner, so like, you're out at the picture. And he sees it and he decides to show up. And he like breaks into her house, and her cat like loves him, which is very funny because the cat like likes no one, of course. It's so funny, so silly, very sexy though at the same time. But again, I got a good giggle out of it multiple times. There were times where I was like, girl, get it together. You don't realize he's stalking you. But then also there were times where I was like, of course you don't, you are like so overwhelmed from work. But yeah, I had some really sweet caretaking in this, also some really fun, just like absolutely obsessed with each other moments, which I love to read, and that was a good time. All right, last but not least, the high I had was reading the novelization of Under the Oak Tree. So Under the Oak Tree is a graphic and novel. There's two formats of this story, like some manga. So these are both Korean-based web novels. So yeah, this is a Korean web novel that has also been adapted into a webtoon. This ends in a cliffhanger. I need you to know this right now. I was so sad when it was over, but I absolutely loved this. I got the audiobook through the Penguin Random House audiobook app for influencers, so I was very thankful for them for gifting me this copy, and I had so much fun reading it because this was truly one of those things that, like, I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I have read a good bit, but not all of the the webtoon. I've read a good bit of the webtoon. So I knew a lot of the initial story, but I hadn't made it as far into the story as this novel goes. And I love how obsessed Riften is for our heroine. I mean, that man is down bad for her, okay? Like, he is ready and willing to do whatever it takes to make her happy. And I'm really, really ready for him to find out how badly treated she was at her dad's house, like at his castle, land or whatever. Because I don't think that's going to go well. I think Riften's going to lose it. But also, he is so absolutely obsessed with her. And I really love just, like, this to me felt like a cozy read. Like, this to me was like sweet semi-cozy because it's pretty low stakes. It's slow development of their relationship and their romance. And I really just loved that element. You know, he's gone away to fight battles and all these things, and it's him coming back and her being there and dragging her back to his place because he's like, why didn't you go? And then her just, like, coming into herself and working on her stutter, which was really great to read in a book. I thought that was really well represented. So yeah, I just had so much fun with this, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then last but not least, the other high I have this month is Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. This is probably not a surprise that I loved this. I love Ruby, and this had all of the steampunk vibes. Oh my goodness. So one thing is, like, when I started reading romance, right, it was the height of paranormal romance, and also steampunk romance was huge then. And I remember reading so many of these steampunk romances, and, like, maybe I should do a video where I go back and revisit some of these, but I had so much fun reading them, and I had so much fun reading this because it gave me a lot of vibes of those older books that I've read. I loved our hero and I loved our heroine in this, two nerds. I loved the way we worked through the issues with the Artifact Guild and what happened. I love that she was just like, you know what? Yeah, like, can we just get married then? Like, you need a mate for your, like, full moon thing. And I need someone to teach me how to do this. So, like, let's just get married. Solves both our problems. So good. So good. This had so much good intrigue as well, and just, like, set up to it, and I am beyond thrilled I read it. So much fun. That's it for all of my November reads. Let me know in the comments what y'all read last month and loved or hated. You know I'm always down to hear your loves. I love the juxtaposition of, like, what worked for y'all and what didn't. So yeah, let me know in the comments those items, and if you don't want to do any of that, leave me a dog emoji because I'm still watching the neighbor's dogs, like, run around. They're so cute. I will be back in just a few days with another video, and I will catch y'all then. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we wait.